stablecoin that's minted by borrowing, not just backed by reserves, but actually like created out of thin air. It's like some kind of DeFi magic trick, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's avve's GHO, and it's got like everyone in decentralized finance talking.
Definitely on topic.
So today we're diving into GHO, why it's making waves, what makes it so different from, the stablecoins we're already using.
Yeah, you're right to be intrigued. The stablecoin space is, it's pretty crowded.
For sure.
But GHO, it really does bring something new to the table. It's not just trying to be like a better stablecoin, It's trying to leverage those core principles of DeFi, that decentralization, community governance,
Right.
to actually create, hopefully, a more transparent and accessible financial system.
So it's not just about like creating another stablecoin, it's like reimagining what a stablecoin can be.
Exactly. And it all starts with how GHO is created. You see, with GHO, you don't just buy it, you borrow it into existence, right?
Yeah.
You're using other crypto assets as collateral.
Interesting. So walk me through this. Let's say I've got some Ethereum just, sitting around.
Mhm.
What's the process? How do I turn that into GHO?
So it's all done on avve,
Oh,
the lending platform behind GHO. You deposit your Ethereum into avve, and that becomes the collateral that backs the GHO that you create.
okay.
So think of it kind of like you're taking out a loan, but instead of getting cash, you're getting this new, hopefully stable asset.
So similar to how I might use like my house as collateral for a mortgage,
Mm-hmm.
my crypto is like a security deposit for like minting this GHO.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. You continue to earn interest on your deposited Ethereum, even while it's being used to back GHO.
Wait, so I'm essentially earning interest while holding this stable coin?
Exactly.
That almost seems too good to be true. There's going to be a catch.
Well, I mean, there are always risks involved, right?
Yeah.
Especially in DeFi. But that's where GHO's unique structure comes in. One of the most interesting aspects is that it's governed by a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. So imagine like a community deciding the rules for GHO, not some company boardroom,
Okay.
right? So it's a very different approach.
That DAO thing is interesting, but before we get like too deep into the weeds of like governance,
Sure.
let's talk about the collateral itself.
Mhm.
I read that GHO can be backed by more than just Ethereum, right?
Sure. You're right. And that's another key differentiator for GHO. It's designed to be flexible and resilient by allowing for what we call multi-collateral backing.
So instead of putting all their eggs in one basket, they're building this stable coin on a more diverse foundation.
Precisely. GHO can be backed by a variety of assets within the avve ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And the avve DAO actually has the power to adjust this mix over time in response to market conditions.
That's fascinating. So we've got this community-governed stablecoin that can be generated using a variety of assets as collateral. What other surprises does GHO have up its sleeve?
Well, remember how we talked about the interest generated from borrowers?
Yeah.
In many lending platforms, that interest goes to the platform itself or is distributed among lenders.
Yeah.
But with GHO, it goes directly to the avve DAO.
It's like a self-sustaining ecosystem where the stablecoin is like directly contributing to the growth and development of the platform that it like lives on.
You got it. And
Yeah.
that's a big part of what makes GHO so intriguing. It's not just a stablecoin. It's a building block for a more robust and decentralized financial system.
This all sounds great in theory, but like let's get down to brass tacks here. For someone who might actually want to use GHO,
Yeah.
what are the real world benefits?
Well, for one, GHO addresses like a major concern in the stablecoin space, and that's transparency.
Okay.
Unlike some stablecoins that have faced scrutiny,
Hmm.
GHO is built on open source code, right? This
Yeah.
means anyone can audit it. They can see exactly what's backing it, how it works, everything, right?
Right.
That kind of transparency is just crucial for building trust.
Transparency, check. But how easy is it to actually get a hold of GHO?
Mhm.
Do I have to be like some kind of DeFi wizard to figure this out?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable using avve, you can mint GHO directly on the platform. It's designed to be pretty user-friendly.
Okay. And once I have this GHO, what can I actually do with it besides, holding it as a more stable asset?
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking real world applications here?
Absolutely. GHO is designed for like seamless integration into other applications.
Okay.
Think payments, lending, and just like a whole universe of DeFi possibilities.
Yeah.
One of the most exciting aspects is how easy it is for developers to incorporate GHO. We're talking just a few lines of code, which means we can see some truly innovative uses emerging very quickly.
Wow, okay. So we've got transparency, accessibility, and seemingly limitless potential for integration.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic for a moment. There's always risk, especially with like anything tied to the crypto market. What happens if like GHO loses its peg?
That's a smart question.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that like no stablecoin is completely risk-free. Even with the over-collateralization built into GHO, extreme market conditions could put its peg to the dollar at risk.
Okay, so what happens then? Like who or what steps in to kind of keep things afloat?
That's where the avve comes in. They're tasked with managing risk and ensuring GHO's stability. So they have tools at their disposal, like adjusting interest rates or introducing new collateral types to help maintain the peg.
Okay, so it's reassuring to know that there are like measures in place, right?
Mm.
But this all kind of hinges on the DAO making the right decisions, which leads me to another question. If GHO is meant to be decentralized,
Yeah.
how much say does an individual user actually have?
Yeah, you're hitting on a really crucial point about DAOs, right?
Right.
It's about collective decision-making.
Okay.
Your influence is tied to your GHO holdings. So the more you have, the more voting power you wield.
Okay.
So while you might not be calling all the shots, your voice does contribute to the direction of the DAO.
So it's like any democracy, really. Strength in numbers.
Exactly.
Okay. Before we go down the rabbit hole of like decentralized governance,
Sure.
I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, the connection between GHO and STAAVE. It seems like there's a bonus for like folks already participating in the avve ecosystem.
Exactly. If you hold STAAVE, that's All's governance token, you get a discount when borrowing GHO. It's a way to incentivize participation and reward those invested in the long-term success of the avve platform.
I love that. It's like rewarding the most active members of the community.
Exactly. Exactly.
But this whole interconnected system, governance tokens, stable coins, lending platforms, it's a lot to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
It speaks to the beauty of DeFi, right? It's like
Yeah.
piecing together a puzzle where each element interacts with and builds upon the others. GHO and SKEVE are just two pieces in a much larger ecosystem, and understanding their relationship just opens up a world of possibilities.
So we've got this innovative stablecoin powered by a DAO, built-in incentives for active users. It's all very impressive, but it kind of begs the question, how is GHO actually used, like in practice?
You already mentioned, integration with other applications, which is a huge part of it.
Right.
But GHO also introduces some, unique functionalities like flash minting.
Flash minting, that sounds intense.
It's a bit like it sounds. Flash minting allows developers to essentially borrow GHO for, incredibly short periods. We're talking, within a single transaction.
Okay, I'll admit that's a little over my head.
Okay.
But I'm guessing this has, significant implications for, specific use cases?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to instantly borrow millions to capitalize on, a tiny price difference between markets, and then repaying the loan within seconds.
Wow.
This opens up a whole new world of DeFi strategies.
Wow, okay. Speed seems to be covered, but what about, reach? Can GHO venture beyond the Ethereum blockchain?
That's where bridging comes in.
Okay.
GHO is designed to move between different blockchain ecosystems, making it much more versatile.
So I could potentially use GHO on, say, the Arbitrum network.
Yeah.
How does that actually work?
There are different mechanisms for bridging, and AmHav utilizes something called Chainlink CCIP, or cross-chain interoperability protocol.
Okay.
It's essentially a secure and reliable way to move GHO between different blockchains.
Okay, I think we're getting a bit too deep into the technical weeds with that one, but the point is GHO is designed for interoperability, which is pretty impressive.
Phew.
We've covered a lot of ground here, huh?
We have.
From the basics of GHO to some pretty advanced DeFi concepts. I mean,
Yeah.
flash minting, cross-chain bridging.
Yeah,
It's a lot to take in.
it is.
So for our listeners out there, let's pull back for a moment, bring it all home.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways about GHO and why should they care?
Well, I think GHO, it represents a fascinating new chapter in the evolution of stablecoins.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just about creating a more stable asset.
Right.
It's about leveraging, the power of decentralization, transparency, that community governance to really build a more accessible and equitable financial system.
It's almost like GHO is trying to be more than just a stablecoin. It's like
Right.
a statement about the potential of DeFi to kind of reshape the way we even think about finance.
Exactly. And while it's still early days for GHO,
Mm.
it has the potential to really challenge the dominance of these centralized stablecoins.
Right.
Think about it. What would it mean if a significant portion of the stablecoin market were controlled not by companies, right, but by a decentralized community? Like, that's a big deal.
That's a really, really interesting question. We're talking about a fundamental shift in like power dynamics
Absolutely.
within the financial landscape. It makes you wonder if GHO and projects like it could be like the seeds of a completely different kind of financial future.
It's certainly a future worth exploring. And that's what I find so exciting about this space.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about lines of code and market trends. We're talking about the potential to create a more inclusive and more innovative financial system for everyone.
Well said. Well said. And on that note, I think we'll leave our listeners with that thought. GHO, it's clearly more than just another stablecoin. It's a powerful example of how DeFi is really pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the world of finance. So if you're interested in, diving deeper into GHO, avve, and the ever-evolving landscape of DeFi, be sure to check out the resources we've linked in the show notes.
Keep in mind, this is a space that moves incredibly fast, right? So stay curious, do your own research, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be a part of shaking this exciting new financial frontier.
I love it. Until next time.